Hey everyone, welcome back to another thrilling episode of Wrentham Revealed, and today I will be walking the old railbed through town from north to south. There will be some interesting things along the way and a bonus surprise at the end, so stay tuned for that. Let's get started. I'm starting in Norfolk on Pine Street, that's Route 115. That's 4 kicks down there. And on each side of the road, you can see the remnants of the rail bridge. Some older residents might remember the rail bridge that used to be here. We're standing on the rail embankment here, and let's turn and start this journey down the railroad. This was originally built as the Old Colony Line in 1890, and in 1898, it was bought out by the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Line. Okay, now we're into Wrentham, and it goes past this industrial area down into the woods. That wetland up ahead on the right, to this day, is called Railroad Pond. As you walk, you can see artifacts from the railroad and beautiful vistas. Until it eventually runs down into this property. The railbed goes through a wooded area and eventually runs into residential properties where it disappears for a few hundred yards. Let's go to the property map. The tracks ran through what is now these backyards towards Winter Street. This embankment is the remnant of the wooden bridge that used to go over Winter Street. The tracks resume through this neighborhood down towards the pond home. This property outline really shows where the tracks used to be. I'm in the woods behind the pond home walking towards Route 1A, which is Dedham Street. This is just north of the center of town. Most people don't even know they're driving over this bridge. This bridge is made of modern steel and concrete, but sits on a railroad abutment from 135 years ago. And at this point, it is a very pleasant walk into the center of town. As you get closer to the center of town, the railbed starts to get filled in a little bit, and there's a lot of overgrowth. And then once you're in the center of town, at the Sunoco station, and you can see it's Depot Street. And if you're wondering why it's called Depot Street, let's go behind the Sunoco station and see what's there. This section of the track is filled in and overgrown. It continues south past this part. At this point, the entire property area is fenced off. This 20-acre property is owned by a company called Wrentham Walk LLC. And on this very spot, 100 years ago, stood the Wrentham Railroad station. So now you know why it's called Depot Street. And on the other side of the fence, it continues on a well-developed trail used by walkers and dirt bikers. Next stop, Creek Street. Off to the right up here, you'll see some stone blocks. These stone blocks are the remnants of the old rail bridge that used to go over Creek Street. Crossing Creek Street now, and the next stop is East Side Road. this point, we're behind the Anawan Ave subdivision. This section is about a mile long and goes to Wampum Corner. Some parts are below grade by about 10 feet. Up ahead, you'll see a white house on the left-hand side. There. That house used to be a train station, too. Okay, now we're at Wampum Corner behind CVS at West Street. This is Route 121. Used to be a bridge here. Let's cross over and take a look. Now, from here on into Plainville, it's as straight as an arrow, and there's a couple of interesting things along the way. This is behind Tosie's Mustang Farm. This is a pond that is behind what used to be Northland Farms. And this is Route 495 North. This is the southbound side, and the next stop is the Outlet Mall. Now we're here at the Outlet Mall. Let's cross Outlet Boulevard. Next stop is the Green Street area. Here is an electrical substation and a lot of power lines. And the rail bed goes through these trees. Some of this walk is pleasant, and some of it not so much. And we have come to the end of the Wrentham journey. I'm standing on the Wrentham-Plainville border. Those rocks mark where the rail crossing used to be. That's Green Street to the right. This small section of road is actually called High Street. And the track continues on into Plainville. Okay, I promised a surprise at the end, and here it is. Wrentham had not one, but two railroads that passed through it. Yes, some of you may be familiar with the trunk line walk area in Franklin. Well, back just after the Civil War, a spur line ran off of that went through Wrentham. Let's take a look. I'm here on Ash Street, and just off the road, you can see this section of rail bed. The bridge over a creek is still functioning. Let's walk south towards Heaton Place. On Heaton Place, off the road in the tree line, you will see two granite markers. The purpose of these markers is to show exactly where the railroad tracks used to be. Now let's go to the property map. Here you can see this strip of land owned by the town of Wrentham clearly shows where the tracks used to be. Walking the rail bed brings us to the end of Ash Street and the start of Spring Street. If you like a good before and after picture, here's what it looked like 100 years ago. Now back to the property map. You can see the track went south through what is now these backyards, parallel to Autumn Street. Past what is now Comstock and Grant Ave, over a creek, and right through what is now a home that still has a remnant in the backyard. I spoke to the homeowner who knew about the train tracks and shared this item. This is the original train schedule that ran from Franklin through Wrentham down into Providence. The property map in Cumberland shows the tracks going south through Diamond Hill to Providence. Well, that's it. Probably more than you wanted to know about Wrentham railroads, but there it is. This video is just a walk through the railbed in Wrentham and is not meant to cover all of the history. So please go check it out yourself, and I'll see you around Wrentham.